Bears general manager Ryan Poles joined ESPN 1000 for an interview on Kap and J-Hood earlier today. Sounded off on a lot of topics following the draft. I got a couple that I really want to hit on, so we'll get to that in a second. Also, we have a Nick Chubb update. What's going on with the free agent running back? Is he going to go back to the Browns? Are the Bears going to get him? Is another team in the mix? We're going to discuss that as well. Okay, guys, your support recently has been incredible. Our draft response from you guys was awesome, so thanks to everybody who tuned in for that and continues to tune into our content. Let's get to 123,000 subscribers. We're almost there. Let's make it happen. Less than 300 away. If you want to join this channel for free and be a part of the 120-plus thousand strong and have daily Bears content, we're the channel for you. So hit that subscribe button. Let's make it happen. Okay, Ryan Poles sounds off. I found this the most interesting. Like, what are the plans for the offensive line? What is going to happen there? Poles first said this, and this is kind of paraphrased from Aaron Leming, which I think is a good way of doing it. So shout out to Aaron here. He said that Ozzy Trapilo they're going to start him at left tackle in terms of that's where they're going to get him work in first. They believe he can play over there. By the way, his college coach, former NFL head coach, Bill O'Brien, believes he can play on the left side as well, so take that for what it's worth. And then Poles also added this, which I found interesting. He said they would like to have things stable by the time they hit training camp so they're not shuffling guys around in camp. A couple things to take away from that. One, I don't think they want to move Darnell Wright. I think they're open to it if they feel like the best combination of five is Ozzy Trapilo at right tackle, which means Darnell Wright at left tackle, because to me, Darnell Wright's one of your better offensive linemen and clearly your best offensive tackle. So I'm not completely dismissing it, but I don't think they want to do that. I think they view Darnell Wright as an ascending right tackle in this league, kind of like Penei Sewell in Detroit. Not saying quite to that level, but on that kind of ascension. Like, hey, this can be one of the premier right tackles in the NFL. Do you really want to mess with it? I would rather not. So that was my first takeaway. But I do also want to point this out. He said that they wanted things settled ideally by the start of training camp. Well, Braxton Jones is not going to practice in the offseason program. So you know what that tells me? If they really like what they see from Trapilo during the spring and the summer before camp hits in late July, early August, he could be the front runner for the left tackle job once training camp gets here. So huge opportunity for Ozzy Trapilo, Karan Amagaji as well. So very excited to see how that all ends up playing out. If you had to guess, who do you think will be the week one starting left tackle? Type BJ for Braxton Jones, OT, offensive tackle, for Ozzy Trapilo, or KA for Karan Amagaji. Something tells me it's going to be this Trapilo kid. I think they really like him. We'll see what ends up happening. Okay, Montez Sweat, who, let's face it, did not have a great year last year, was playing through a shin injury all season. I think that played a bigger role than he or the Bears would ever want to admit. But Ryan Poles pointed this out, talking about Montez Sweat and his motivation level, and he said, I don't think there's anyone in the building working as hard as Montez Sweat right now. He's pushing weight, he's getting stronger, getting in shape. He's locked in like I've never seen him before. And remember, when they traded for Sweat, he just went on an absolute tear. He was having a career year already in Washington. That continued with the Bears, especially as a pass rusher. He's always been an elite run defender, but that year was easily his best year as a pass rusher. The production showed it with 12.5 sacks. And then last year, he had a major dip in sack production, just 5.5, which, look, before that, he was more of like an 8-sack guy, so I don't expect Sweat to be a 12, 13-sack guy, but not only did the pass rush production dip last year, he did not set the edge consistently as a run defender. So he kind of was just an average-ish guy last year, and they paid him to be a very, very good player. I've said this all along. Is Montez Sweat one of these top edges? Is he TJ Watt or Myles Garrett? No. But he is much better than what we saw last year. He just is. He's been one of the premier run-setting edges in the NFL, and he's a very good number 2 pass rusher. Now, unfortunately, with what the Bears have, ton of depth, they probably don't have that true number 1 guy unless someone truly emerges. So Sweat might need to be that, but if he at least can get back to being that elite edge setter in the run game and at least a better pass rusher than last year, I'm cool with that because I think you got enough bodies, waves of pass rushers, both on the interior and at edge that you can throw at teams where you're going to have more pass rush production just by having fresh legs of quality players regardless, but he's got to be better. The Bears desperately need him to produce for A, what they're paying him, and B, look, he's probably the top guy on that defensive line, and he did not play like that last year. Okay, then lastly, Joe Thuney extension. They kind of jokingly asked him, Kap and J-Hood, hey, when can we announce on the show that you've extended Joe Thuney? And he kind of joked, I'll send you a text, but he said, hopefully in the near future. Very similar to the Kyler Gordon rhetoric at the owners' meetings. And then, like the week before the draft, they extended him and TJ Edwards. And he used the word he used then again today. Priority. It's a priority. Now, you've kind of reached the time on the calendar where you're not in a huge rush. You haven't even gotten to your first OTAs yet. You really have, to me, from now until training camp. Ideally, this is not something you want lingering during training camp. Now, Thuney's the type of guy, he's not going to hold out or anything like that. Like, he's going to show up, but I would just rather have this handled. And I like that they went through the draft first, but Ozzy Trapilo in the second round, who's more of a tackle than a guard, you're extending Joe Thuney. Like, had they drafted Will Campbell, then determined he was more of a guard, okay, maybe you play this year out. To me, that clearly did not happen. Trapilo was someone they're first going to work at tackle. I would extend Joe Thuney, and I would do it without any hesitation whatsoever. 2 years, $40 million, whatever it is, and let's get him on board. Okay, Colston Loveland jerseys are available for pre-order. If you want to get one today, he's rocking number 84, chatsports.com/Loveland. We're waiting to get official word from Fanatics, our partners here, about Luther Burden jerseys. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me for those, so stay tuned. Those should be coming at some point in the near future. When they do, we will share the link with you guys to pre-order those as well. For now, get a Colston Loveland jersey, chatsports.com/Loveland. Okay, let's get into the latest on Nick Chubb now, the free agent running back, and from a name standpoint, the top running back out there you could debate, is J.K. Dobbins better? Maybe, maybe not. I think it depends how healthy Chubb is this upcoming season, but new report out of Cleveland has shed light on the latest there. Here's what Ken Carman, 92.3, the fan in Cleveland, had to say. He's been covering the Browns and done Cleveland Sports Talk Radio for a long time. He said, the Browns want to bring Nick Chubb back. They are trying hard to bring Nick back. I know this. I also know the Bears are very serious about bringing him in and are trying to make this push. It's just going to depend on who's going to offer more. Now, to that last standpoint, do we really think Nick Chubb is going to be able to engage in a bidding war? I do not. 2 seasons ago, he had that major knee injury. Last year, I kind of had forgotten about this. He broke his foot. Now, he's fully healthy now. He's been training, but he's been very injured the last couple of years. And last year, in the 8 games he did play, he was not that productive. Now, I said this the other day, and I'll say it again. I thought his last couple of games, he looked a little fresher. He looked like more of the Nick Chubb of old. Again, I don't think you're getting peak Nick Chubb at this point. He'll turn 30 at some point this season. But I do think he can be better than what he was in limited action last year. I thought Louis Riddick made an interesting point when talking about the Bears offense. He kind of impromptu brought up Nick Chubb. He said, Nick Chubb needs to beat down the door of the Bears and say, quote, I want to run behind this offensive line. I want to be a part of this. We're talking about Caleb, the offense, Ben Johnson, etc. So, former league exec who knows ball very well, Louis Riddick, those are pretty strong words. Hey, Nick, forget Cleveland. Go play for the Bears. And quite frankly, I think the Bears are a better option than Cleveland. Not only because I think they have a chance to be a better football team, but also the Browns just drafted 2 running backs. Quinshon Judkins, Dylan Sampson. Both, to me, who are pretty pro-ready. Like if Nick Chubb re-signs there's a real scenario. He's like the 3rd guy. Where if he signs here, I think at worst, unless he's just completely cooked, he's the number 2 guy. And who knows? If we get, 85% of Chubb, maybe he ends up becoming the lead rusher on this team. Now, I'm not going to, again, I don't have expectations of getting peak Nick Chubb. But even if you can get 75% of him, this is a guy who at his peak was arguably the best running back in the league. So if he's 75%, that's at least a fringe starter. So you plug him in with DeAndre Swift as a 1-2 punch, let Roschon Johnson and Kyle Monangai duke it out to be that 3rd guy. Boom. There's your running back room. You feel a lot better with that than what you currently have. Now, look, maybe Monangai lights it up and he's just ready to go. Maybe Roschon Johnson was misused last year, like Ryan Poles kind of hinted at on his interview earlier today. And I do think with a better offensive line, his physicality can show out more. But I'm not ready to sit here and act like he or Monangai can handle double-digit touches per game. Could they? Yes. Can Nick Chubb, if he's healthy, for sure? Yeah, to me, again, bring him in, work him out, do a medical. If you feel good about those things, I think chances are that is an upgrade, at least for this season, over Roschon Johnson and Kyle Monangai. Should the Bears sign Nick Chubb? What say you? Type S for sign or P for pass. Again, at minimum, I'm bringing him in and I'm working him out. And I'm checking out his medicals. Like that, there's no reason. What's the downside? His knee's fucked. Okay, we're not going to sign him. I don't, now I guess he and his agent could refuse to do a workout and a medical check. Okay, then that tells me what I need to know too. I'm not going to sign him without working him out and doing a medical check. But no downside to doing that. Put him in a workout led by running backs coach Eric Bieniemy, and then make a decision or make him an offer. Maybe he takes it, maybe he doesn't. But that is what I would do. All right, appreciate everybody for tuning in to this episode of Chicago Bears Now. We will continue to monitor the Nick Chubb situation, so hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's roll. Bear down.